Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself, ntnm.org. We're real big on doing judicial stuff, and one of the people responsible, or if you perhaps reprehensible, for getting us a number of different judges on the air, and also helping us understand how the process works, is somebody who probably should be a judge himself, and had more highly qualified than anybody in his race the one time he ran. We're talking about Michael Strom. Michael, how you doing?
I'm good, Avi. How you doing?
Good. Pleasure to have you here. And
thanks for having me back.
Yeah, and also to point out a fellow South Shorean, or however you pronounce that. So there's a lot going on right now judicial-wise. I mean, you want to illuminate us a little bit?
Well, there's some stuff that we know is going on and some stuff that we suspect is going on. I'm personally more involved in the stuff we suspect is going on, which is the associate judge process that we've talked about in the past.
Ah, yes, we have. We'll let people know about the process.
Well, it's a very difficult process to explain, but essentially associate judges are not voted on by the public. They are voted on by the full circuit court judges of Cook County. I saw Lainey Berger on your show recently, who mentioned that one of the reasons she wants to run for full circuit, she's been an associate judge for 14 years, is she wanted to have a vote. She wanted to have a say in who's becoming a judge. So that's how it works. The full circuit judges vote on the associates. But not until the list has been vetted and reduced to a number twice the number of vacancies, what's referred to as the short list. That process has been in fits and starts. One of the things that happened this year to I think, consternation of many involved is, and this isn't widely known, and as always, you'll hear it here first on Avi's show.
Thank you.
The number of judicial seats held by the County of Cook is based upon population, and when the census numbers come in, adjustments are made. As you may recall, about maybe a month before the taping, there was, the census numbers were confirmed, and the result of which was a reduction in the total number of judicial seats held in Cook County by 6, which doesn't sound like so very much, except that we were about to start a process to fill 12 vacancies. Now we're filling 6, presuming that the process is going forward. And that really threw things into a bit of a muddle. We had heard, some of us who've had the chance to talk with Chief Judge Evans over the summer. There was a time frame that we had been told of that obviously got changed severely by the revision in the numbers. It's one of those domino effects where a delay in one thing leads into something else that delays things, and so on and so forth. So we think that the associate process will play out between now and the end of the year, but we never really know.
And by the way, if it does play out, he would make a very good judge, that I'm sure of.
Well, thank you, Avi. You're very kind.
Well, my pleasure. So, so there's a lot of, right now, actually, when we're filming, it's just before the slating. So we don't quite know who's slated for what. We know an awful lot of people are running for different things. Some people are passing both for county and for sub-circuit, and will make up their minds depending on how the races go, which slot they're going to be in. The rules changed this year.
They did, and did you have Jim Nally on the show?
Yes, we did, as a matter of fact.
Yes, he had talked about that.
My favorite election lawyer.
As we understand it. He'd actually given a talk to the Decalogue Society about that subject as well. And as I understand it,
and by the way, for those people who don't know, I get the newsletters too from the Decalogue Society via email, and Michael's the one who's in charge right now.
Well, I am the editor of Decalogue News, although I do it anonymously, but I reserve the right to have somebody else do it if I get too busy, but so far I've been able to keep up.
Cool.
as I understand it, you mentioned people are circulating for both sub-circuit and county. They actually can circulate for multiple sub-circuit races. For example, I understand in the 8th there are multiple vacancies. Four. The change is that they can't file for more than one of those. You have to make up your mind before you file. So definitely in terms of sub-circuit races, you could only file the petitions in one race or another. If you file for multiple races, whichever one the clerk gets first, that's it.
And can you file for both sub-circuit and for countywide?
Nally's much better than me on that stuff.
I have to rewatch the interview.
But I think you can, but you have to withdraw from one or the other.
Right. That's that's what I think is the case. That but by the time before the deadline, you've got to pull one. You've got to pull out of one. So, anybody particular that you like that you want to talk about, or?
Well, you know, there are candidates that I'm helping. I'm on their committee, but I don't really want to talk up any particular candidates because, particularly in the 8th sub-circuit, there are a number of very qualified candidates.
There's a lot of there's more qualified candidates than there are spots available.
Yeah, and it always at least gives the appearance that if you're talking up one candidate, that by inference you're talking down another, and I certainly don't intend that at all. There are races where I know there are multiple candidates that I would want to support, but you know, you got to pick a horse and ride.
Right, and actually in both your case and my case, neither one of us can vote in the 8th sub-circuit.
Also true, also true. The 9th, of course, is where Avi and I both reside, and why at one point I ran in that race. And I took a look at the field this year and didn't see a way for me to win either of those races, so I'm going to sit on the sidelines on that one.
No, and well, hopefully somebody will understand that you would make an excellent judge and appoint you, or you win an associates or something like that, because I don't think there's any question about your legal qualifications and the numbers of like I said, the time you did run, you had more highly qualified than anybody else going, and by a lot. And I don't think you become any less qualified in the meantime. I always hear good things about you when you're on the show.
Well, I hope I'm not getting dumber as I go along. You try to learn every day. So I don't think I'm any worse. I guess the modesty button's been triggered, and I'll have to say that there have been at least 2 candidates I know of who have had better ratings than mine overall.
Well, considering how many people are running.
They're off, yeah. So one of them was Judge William Hooks, who, of course, Avi disdained in his Jewish Chicago endorsements, notwithstanding the fact that his ratings were the best since, I think, Bill Kunkel. There's another candidate.
You're not the only one who gave me a baseball bat over that either.
Yeah, but I think I'm the one who's done it most frequently.
Well, about more races, yeah.
Deborah Gubin also has very, very outstanding ratings, better than mine.
Wow. Yeah, she was on the show, and as a matter of fact, that was you were the one who suggested to her that she should appear, which.
Yeah, I don't think she's had a lot of exposure in the press, and I was glad to see that you were able to get her on the show.
No, I'm happy to do it. At this point, I want to thank you very much, Michael Strom. We hope you will come back again soon to help us understand what's going on.
Can I give a quick spiel?
Yes,
quick
absolutely.
Pitch? Because I'm working someplace else.
Do it.
I'm now of counsel with Strom and Associates, switching sides in the types of cases I handle, now representing folks who are injured rather than defending against them.
And I kind of like that. We just had a former defense attorney on earlier. I want to thank you very much, Michael Strom. Thank you, Sonny. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Avi.